back, folks, to Gordon St.Hilaire Family Farm. Last time we were in the operation of trying to resurrect this old 1967 Thunderbird powerboat. I think we left you last time when we totally stripped everything and power washed the entire boat. Did find some damage over time from the fiberglass, so today we are going to try to get some patching done there, and also put the battery in with fresh gas mixed. By the way, this is a 2-stroke motor. It's a old Mercury 140 horse. My apologies. We'll see if she fires. So that's what's on tap today. Keep your fingers crossed. Thanks. Okay, that looks fairly secure. The lock is unlocked, so we're going to try the trim. It may need oil, I don't know. And sometimes she's finicky when she wants to get going, but usually it works. Let's see. We'll drop all the way. Now I want to make sure it goes up. Apparently that was the problem. So it was low on fluid, trim fluid. I had probably about 8 ounces. It's almost full, but I'll have to pick up some more. So at least that works. So we're gonna move to getting some fuel into the boat and hooking up the fuel line and see if we have any power from the battery to the boat motor and if it decides to fire. Important piece to these is you have to have water to it. You can start it for a few seconds to make sure it's going to run, but this is a water cooled engine, so it pulls water from the lake. So I have a set of muffs and a hose that I'll put on to make sure we're doing it properly. These are 6-gallon tanks, so I end up doing like a little extra to make it like a 40-to-1 mixture, just because I don't need a problem with the motor. Just a lock connection, so you kind of plug it in and it turns to lock the fuel. It's just in this little slot. I went. Kind of feel it when it finds its position, and then you can seat it and turn to the right clockwise, and it's locked. Usually give that a little extra so when the motor turns, it's got plenty of flexibility. And then this line goes right to my tank. Fuel here. There it is. So it'll get to the hose, and then it'll actually start. This bulb will get hard once the line is pressurized. This is all by hand, and then once it hits the carburetors, I can tell because I'll get a drip of fuel. So it should be pressurized. We are gonna just start to see if it turns over before we put any water to it, just to see what happens. So I won't run it long, as I said, just because I don't want to, have any damage to the motor. But obviously we have power, and it fired and it ran, so fuel's getting to it fine. We'll take a timeout, we'll hook up a hose, and then we'll run it for a few minutes to make sure it's pumping water, which on the other side of the motor, I'll point that out because that's a huge piece of the puzzle. If you come around, there's a little hole here somewhere. I think it's right here. And if we don't see water coming out of that within like 10 or 15 seconds, either something's in there that made a nest, or it might be unplugged, or it's not pumping water, because there's an impeller in the bottom of the motor that actually pulls the water up into the water jacket of the engine. So that's like rule number 1. If you can't have your motor cooling, don't leave the yard, because it will only run for a few minutes and then it will never run again until you repair it. Okay, so we're back. I found my muffs, which simulate water pressure going into the base of the engine through these portholes. So this just slips on the back, it's rubber. Just make sure that it's over the holes, and they're on both sides. We need to make a correction. We were pointing to this hole a moment ago. It's actually right here is where the water pump will pump out the water if the motor is circulating the water. So I've got a hose here. We're gonna hook it up and say a little prayer. But I think this mechanically sounded pretty good. Simple garden hose connection. Obviously make sure it's snug, but we're gonna have water all over anyways. So we're going to turn the water on. It will kind of fly out the sides, which is normal. I'll jump back into the boat, start it. We'll wait, like I said, a few seconds. And if we don't see water out of here, that's where we got to investigate next. But I actually have a pretty good feeling. So we'll be back in a moment. We're gonna get situated with our door, and then we'll get water on so that hopefully you folks can see this thing pump water today. So I'm in the boat, and I'm gonna have Dre turn on my water, and then we'll start it. All set, Dre? Yep. It'll take a minute to get here because it's like 50 feet of hose. I know there's water there. There it is. All right. Here we go, folks. Not long. It took a little because there's pressure with the water and the water pump. That's why I didn't like start immediately when it was dry. So very good sign. Doesn't look like we're gonna need to do a lot to the engine, which is really good. So, and we shifted it. I didn't see it, but I know you did. It went one way and then the other. So forward and reverse seemed to work too. So this is resin that we're gonna use first. The area has been washed, sanded, and prepped according to manufacturer instructions on the can. So we're ready to go there. We will wet the area first with resin, but before we do that, we'll cut a patch so we know the size we want, and then we'll lay the patch in over the resin, cover it with resin and hardener pre-mixed, so it's good to go. So we're gonna get set up. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're in the final stages of Fiberglass Nation. We've done all the small patches, and we are going to do a big patch. Welcome back. We are in the final stages of some fiberglass work today. We've done all the patching, so we're just using our last kind of large piece of fiberglass mesh to just do a top coat to finish it off, to stiffen everything up so everything is kind of bonded all together. So just to recap today, really good progress. We got our motor hooked up, battery, gas, and everything fired. It pumped water. It ran idled at high and low speed. The shifting was great from forward to reverse. So now we are moving to the next stage, which is get some flooring, finished flooring for it, and also some seats back in it. Hoping to take a ride very, very soon. Thanks for watching.